zucchini strips, then with fresh basil on top. It was fantastic, but once again, I don't feel like I need to eat any cheese or cream until probably Christmas. Does that mean I won't? Probably not. Welcome back on board the Wonder of the Seas, the largest cruise ship in the world built by Royal Caribbean. It's not just the largest one built by Royal Caribbean, it's the largest one at all. Today we're in Naples, Italy, and I kind of have a history with this city. I've been here a couple times, and the last time I was here, I just did not understand or really appreciate the vibe of the city. And by the vibe, I mean, unfortunately, there's a lot of areas of Naples that are kind of crumbling and falling apart and full of graffiti, and it just seems like nobody really takes care of them. And I mentioned that in a little bit more detail in a video I made a couple years ago, and all hell broke loose in the comments. So I made a joke. I posted on Facebook and on Instagram a picture of me like wearing sunglasses with my hood down, saying, "This is how I'm gonna go walking around the city today in order to not get assaulted since I was on the mayor's blacklist." And Marcus and I did something that I've actually done in Naples before that is the one attraction that I would really recommend if you come here, and that is to go see Naples Underground. Before I show you that, let me just tell you I'm cheating a little bit in the video right now. While I'm filming this, it's actually the next day. I'm not really in Naples right now. This is sort of the catch up because I didn't sit down and do this part of the video yesterday in Naples. But for all intents and purposes,
I'm in Naples.
We're actually packing right now. Tomorrow is disembarkation, so the cabin is kind of torn up. And what I see outside right now is just nice, beautiful Mediterranean Sea, which is kind of choppy. But yesterday, our neighbors were the Carnival Pride. I wasn't expecting to see a carnival ship here in the Mediterranean. It is the only, and I think the first, carnival ship to cruise the Med. There's definitely not a lot of carnivals happening here in this part of Europe. To get to the entrance of this underground tour, you have to walk about 2.5 kilometers from the port. I've never taken the bus there or a taxi there, so I can't tell you how much it costs. I can only tell you that, you walk through the city for about maybe half an hour, 45 minutes to get there. You can buy your ticket online in advance, and otherwise you might have to end up waiting in kind of a line when you get there. This tour has become very popular, and I totally understand why, because it's so cool. And at the moment here at the end of the summer in 2022, it still only cost 10 euros, and it's 10 euros for an hour and a half of fascinating history and just really cool, kind of almost creepy. This is a large, interconnected series of large and very small passageways that run underneath the entire city for hundreds of kilometers. Anyways, when we got there, unfortunately, we had to wait in a line, and even more unfortunately, it started raining, and we were not prepared for that. So Marcus and I kind of got wet while waiting for the underground tour, but it was still pretty warm. It's probably in the high 70s, so it was kind of okay. If you're planning on doing this tour, make sure you are wearing good, sturdy shoes. If you're not good at steps going down or going up, and if you're not good at tight places, this is definitely not a tour for you, because some of the areas do get very tight and small, and there is an option to not go through those really tight spaces, but those are where the coolest things are to see, including the underground lakes that are still filled with water down there. The last time I did this, it was allowed to take videos when you're down in the tour. This time it wasn't. And another thing that's different, and this is something I really miss, is for part of the tour, the last time I did it, everybody got a candle to hold. So it was like really old-fashioned, kind of like way back in the days, and now they just tell everybody to turn on their their cell phone flashlight. So that was just something I missed from the original time I did it, but it was still just so cool, and I can only recommend doing it if you're going to be in Naples and not sure what you want to do, or if you're into like lost places, caves, underground passageways, ancient Roman history, things like that. By the time our tour finished, it had stopped raining, which was fantastic, and the sun was pretty powerful, so we were dry within just a couple minutes, and we decided to stop and have lunch on land. It was not necessary for us to eat on land. We could have easily walked back to the ship and had a nice lunch, but we decided, you know what, why not? Let's just, if we see a restaurant that looks like someplace we want to be, let's go in and have something for lunch. And I ended up getting a fantastic pizza. It was with cacio de pepe cream sauce, and then 2 different kinds of cheese, and then super thinly sliced crunchy zucchini strips, then with fresh basil on top. It was fantastic, but once again, I don't feel like I need to eat any cheese or cream until probably Christmas. Does that mean I won't? Probably not. One thing that holds me back from going out to eat more often when I'm cruising in a country where I don't speak the language is I just have like this paranoia in my head that the waiter or waitress, the wait staff is not going to speak English, that they're going to be annoyed with me as a tourist, that I'm going to order something that's going to come and then it's going to have meat piled up on it, and I'm going to have to either send it back or just leave it there without eating it. And none of those things happened. Our waiter was an older Italian gentleman who spoke pretty good English, and he even had some fun, like, silly jokes to make. We did not get like an extra tourist tax added to the bill in the end. Everything worked out fine, and I just have to keep reminding myself that that can happen too. And speaking of food, last night was the only night that we went to the main dining room here on board. We have had a couple dinners in Coastal Kitchen, which is the suites only restaurant on board. The food and the service there have been fantastic. Most of our meals have been in the Windjammer, or as some people call it, the Windjammer. And we have just loved the selection up there, loved the quality of the food, the Indian stuff. There's just so much selection. Indian, Asian, Italian, fresh-made pasta, or let's say made-to-order pasta. All kinds of meaty things, tons of desserts, just kind of unmatched. But we decided to try the main dining room just to give it a go once, and one of my main gripes with the main dining room is always like how many waiters you have. There's like the head waiter, and then there's your main waiter, and then there's assistant waiter, and then there's the drink waiter, and then there's the water waiter, and then there's the bread waiter. You know, there's all these people who just keep coming to your table, asking you questions, interrupting if you're just trying to sit there and have a nice dinner. I know, they're just doing their job. That's what they're supposed to do, but that is not the kind of dinner experience that we prefer, and that's why we usually avoid the main dining room. And here's the thing, it's like 180 degrees in the other direction right now, and not for good reasons. By the way, Marcus is showering right now, so if you hear the water in the background, that's what that is. We're not sinking. We had one waiter and one assistant waiter, and they were taking care of, I think, 6 different tables, and some of these tables were 10 tops. And these 2 poor guys were running around like chickens with their heads cut off, trying to take care of their section of the main dining room. And I don't think anybody was satisfied with the service that they were getting, not because they weren't nice and friendly, just because they had way too much to do. From the time we sat down and ordered, it took almost exactly a half an hour to get our appetizer. Marcus ordered 2 appetizers, I think the shrimp cocktail and something else, and he only ended up getting 1 anyways. Then our main course took another half an hour until it got to the table, and in the meantime, we're just sitting there. Nobody brought us new bread, nobody came to check on us, and I just want to specify again, I am absolutely not blaming this on the wait staff. It was clearly evident that they just had too much to do, and not that they were not doing a good job. They were doing the best job they could do under the circumstances that Royal Caribbean has put them in. Either that, or there's just a lot of, there's still a lot of staffing issues, and they couldn't find more staff for the dining room. I don't know. Then the people next to us and us had to leave before we even got our dessert because we wanted to go see the 10:30 or I think it was 10:45 showing of the Aqua show again. So we just skipped our dessert, which was kind of disappointing. Went, got a seat for the Aqua show, and then the Aqua show was canceled. So that was kind of a bummer as well, although that's just a tip I can give you when you're on these big ships from Royal Caribbean, the Oasis class with the Aqua Theater in the back. These outdoor shows do get canceled quite frequently, and in case I haven't made this clear yet, this Intense show, that's what it's called, Intense, is so amazing. I highly recommend you see it, and my advice to you is on the first night that it's offered on your cruise, try to go to it just in case it gets canceled, because then you'll have more chances. Don't wait until the last time that it's offered because they do get canceled a lot. There are certain weather conditions that have to be in place. Otherwise, it's way too dangerous. And when you see the show, you'll understand what I mean. And that was our day in Naples here on the Wonder of the Seas. And if you wonder what's coming next, then make sure you're subscribed before you leave today. Hit that thumbs up button, and if you want to give me a little bit of help and get something interesting to read, you can check out my book on Amazon. It's called Getting Stitches on a Cruise Ship. I did have to get stitches on a cruise ship, the Harmony of the Seas, which is a sister of this ship. I know most of you know that story because so many of you have either read the book or seen the videos about it. But there are also a bunch of other stories in the book, some of them that I've never talked about here on the channel. And don't forget, it's not just about getting the book, it's also a way to help support what I do here on the Very Unofficial Travel Guide. So Christmas is coming up. Think about it. Maybe there's somebody you would like to gift a book to. I'm Morgan from the Very Unofficial Travel Guides. See you soon.